show you how I made a fun card with the Attention Shoppers stamp set bundle, which will be available starting on May 1st in the new Stampin' Up! Annual catalog. So this is one of those new items that demonstrators can pre-order now, or anybody will be able to get it beginning on the 1st of May. So, and I can see I'm all sorts of crazy crooked here, so I'm trying to straighten out my screen a little bit, or straighten out my desk a little bit, so it's not quite so crooked for you guys watching it. And anyway, so yeah, so this is the bundle that we're going to be using, and this is the card we're going to be making. So it's a fun one that uses a bunch of the new in colors, actually all the new in colors, and a little bit of crumb cake and a little bit of gray. But other than that, yeah, it's basically all the new in colors. So hey, Melanie and Sally and Carol, thanks for joining. I appreciate you being here. So this is a card, and then this is the little stamp set. Again, it's called Attention Shoppers, and it's way too cute. It's got some fun little shopping images, shopping cart. Then there are some sentiments that coordinate with it, and shopping is always a good idea. Treat yourself just for you. So lots of fun little sentiments that go with this, and a cute little stamp set bundle. Well, a cute little bundle with a die is what I meant to say. So I see Barbara and Gina Marie and Robin are here as well. So thanks everybody for joining. So this is the die set. And as you can see, there are some of the images, the open ones here, that will cut out your stamped images in your stamp set. So you got the plant, the bottle, the cake, the little package or little bag, and then the flowers you can cut out with dies. And then this actually will make a shopping cart, which is what I did today. So it's a little die set that you can just die cut the shopping cart if you don't want to stamp it. This does not actually have a die. The die does not coordinate with it. But yeah, it's a cute little set anyway. So, all right. So that is the bundle, again, called Attention Shoppers, and it'll be available starting on the 1st of May. All right, let me set that aside and get a couple of other things that I used. So I used one of the new embossing folders. This one is called the Dotted Circles 3D Embossing Folder. So hopefully you can see what it looks like there. It's huge. This is one of the new embossing folders, and it measures about 8.5 inches by 6 inches. So it will still fit through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, but it's just big, so, which is nice if you're wanting to make. I know some people like making 5x7 sized cards, and it's a little hard to do that with your smaller embossing folders. So this one will actually work for a larger card. And this one is the 3D embossing folder, so it's one of those where you'll need the base plate and then the paper inside the embossing folder, and then the gray number 4 specialty plate to go with it. So again, it's a cool embossing folder. And there's one other one. There's it's like a swirly pattern that's in the new annual catalog. That is one of the big dies or big embossing folders too. There may be others, but those are the only ones that we actually have been able to order. So. All right. One other thing that I did use on this is I used the Stylish Shapes dies, and I used the circle die, and then the kind of the longer, narrower banner die. So it's the largest circle die, and then this banner die in here to cut out a couple of things on the card front. So that's it. So pretty quick and easy, and hopefully I won't have you here all afternoon. So, all right. A couple other things to remind you about. Right now, the sale is going on, the retirement sale. So anything that is retiring from the current annual or the January to April 2024 mini catalog are all on last chance, which means that they're available while supplies last. Some of the items are on sale, so make sure you're taking a peek at those, especially if it's a die set that's on sale. Make sure you take a look at those and figure out whether it's cheaper to buy the die set and stamp set separately or in the bundle, because the bundle, a lot of times the pricing won't go on sale, but the dies are 60% off, so you can get those with the stamp set and have be way less expensive than the bundle pricing would be. So make sure you check that before you buy anything in the online store. And then just wanted to remind you about the online exclusives that are going on. Stampin' Up! Has them. They kind of come and go. They are not tied to any catalog. So things that are on the online exclusives are just that, online exclusive, and they kind of come and go. So make sure you always take a peek at those before you head out and finish up your order. So let me know if you have questions on any of that. But let's get going on our card. I see a few more people have hopped in. Everybody, thanks for joining today, and I'm glad y'all are here. So, all right. A couple things I did do ahead of time. I went ahead and embossed this is Summer Splash, which is one of the new in colors. It's sort of a darker coastal cabana with maybe a little more green. I don't even know how to describe it. I'm like, I don't know. So it's pretty. That's all I can tell you. I like this color a lot. And I embossed it with that Dotted Circles 3D embossing folder. And I tried to get it so that it was fairly centered. It's not perfectly centered, I do know that, but I tried to get it so that the circles were fairly centered on it. That was my main thing. This is a piece of cardstock that is cut to about 4¼ by 5½, so it should cover the entire card front. And then I've got a card base that is also the Summer Splash, and this one is cut to 5½, well, 5½ by 8½ and scored at 4¼ so it's a half sheet of cardstock. My original one was the top fold card because that's the fold that I prefer. But I like to show you that you can usually make most of the cards either way. And this one works either ways. And I had a card base cut like this, so I went ahead and used that for my sample today. All right, let's glue this together. So I got some of the multi-purpose liquid glue. And we're going to just put that around the edges here. Maybe a little bit more out there. And then a little in the center to kind of hold everything down. And if I've measured it correctly and cut everything correctly, this should cover the entire card front. And I don't tend to use the liquid glue a lot just because, as you know, if you've watched any of my videos, I usually glue myself to something with it. But I do like it for putting on card fronts like this just because it gives me a second to do what I'm doing right now, which is wiggling it around and making sure that I have everything on straight. So I think we're good to go on that one. Next thing that I've got is a little piece of the Summer Splash Designer Series paper. This is from the new 2024 to 2026 In Color Designer Series paper pack. And one side has got kind of the greenery pattern and floral patterns on it. And the other side is stripes. And then there's another one that's got, I'm trying to remember the designs. It's kind of like little bubble looking polka dots and then something that's I don't know, it's kind of a generic pattern. I don't even know how to describe the other pattern. So, and this should be cut to about 1 3/4 wide by 5½ long. So it should cover from top to bottom and then just a little bit, not quite half of the card front. And I'm going to use Stampin' Seal to put that on. You can use liquid glue if you want to. I just prefer Stampin' Seal because I tend to make a little less of a mess with that. All right, and I'm going to take that and we're just going to line it up here along the edge of my embossed panel. And again, try to get it straight and even top to bottom, or even, well, straight with the top and the bottom, I guess I should say. And then I'm actually going to kind of smoosh this down a little bit because I don't care that the embossing gets a little bit smashed underneath this because nobody's going to see it or know that it's really there anyway. So, all right. Next up, I did cut ahead of time a circle from basic white cardstock because that's a pretty simple task. So this is the largest circle die from the Stylish Shapes dies. And I don't know why I couldn't come up with Stylish Shapes, not that I haven't used it a billion times. And we're just going to take some Stampin' Dimensionals and we're going to stick this to the card front. And I chop my Stampin' Dimensionals in half. I know some people love that, some people do not. So you get to pick if you want to use the whole dimensionals, you certainly can. I just like the half ones because they fit, in my opinion, better in a lot of places. So I tend to use those. And then when I went to put this on my card front, again, it doesn't line up perfectly with the circles, but I generally wanted to get it to be about as centered as it could be, according to where my little circle embossing was at. So. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's all good. So there you go. And probably nobody else would even notice it but me, and it was one of my weird things. So, all right. Next up, we're going to do a little bit of stamping. And I've got my Tuxedo Black Memento ink and a couple of the images from the Attention Shoppers stamp set. Oops, this one I guess I don't need till later. And it's just going to be the little shopping bag. So we're going to make sure we get that one getting inked up. And I think we will stamp that down here near the bottom. And then we've got the little wine bottle or drink bottle. It doesn't have to be wine, I guess. Oop, looks like we maybe didn't get quite enough ink on that one. There we go, stamp that one. And then we've got the little plant. Oh, I'm glad y'all are liking the in colors and this card. It was a fun one, definitely. And then I saw Carol did one this morning on her blog, and she actually turned it into a gift card holder, which is really cute. And had I been thinking about it, that would have been a great addition to this card, is having it be a little gift card holder. But I did not think that far ahead. So, all right, next up, I'm going to grab a bunch of Stampin' Blends markers. And you'll note these are all the new ink colors. Plus I've got crumb cake for the bag. So I'll start with crumb cake since that's the most boring one. And well, I shouldn't say boring. It's one of my favorite colors. I use it a ton, but it's nothing new. We've had crumb cake for a long time. And we're just going to color in the bag. When I do my coloring with Stampin' Blends, I usually start with the light blend marker and just basically fill in the image, get the ink on it. And it doesn't matter, it doesn't have to be colored really perfectly or nicely. You know, you can have lines in it and whatever on the first layer, so don't stress out about getting it on there and looking perfect on the first layer. I just want to get the color mostly on it and covered. And then I'm going to grab my dark Stampin' Blends marker and just going to go along, kind of along the edges here and along the top, anywhere where I think there might be a little bit of a shadow. And same thing here, going to go sort of along here, along the edges, probably around the bottom just a little bit. And then here along the top, going to do the same thing and just pull a little bit of that dark crumb cake like that. And then I'm going to go back in with my light and we're going to sort of blend the two together and make sure that I have everything colored like I want it to be. So again, when I am blending, I usually try to start near the edge where I've got the darker color and blend it together to start with on the edges and kind of get the color mixed in a little bit so it's not quite such a harsh line on it. So I'm going to grab just a little bit of that dark ink and blend it with the lighter. And then I'm going to come back with my light and just kind of fill in the middle of it to make it a little bit more even. And hopefully, whoop, looks like we've got a little bit of a harsh line there, so just want to blend that out with my light. That's the main thing I'm trying not to have, is any like really harsh lines in it. So then I'm going to come back in with my light and just basically fill in the center of the bag again. If you liked the way it looked where it was really light in the center, you certainly can leave it that way. I just thought it looked, in my opinion, I liked it a little bit better when it was a little darker in the center, so that's why I colored it the way I did. All right, set that one aside, and then we are going to grab Peach Pie, and we're going to start, hopefully, with the light. So when you buy the Stampin' Blends, do you get two markers? Yes, you get both of the markers in the same package. They used to come individually, but now they both come, it's a light and a dark together. So, oop, and I kind of went out of the lines there, but that's okay. We'll color over it with the pink and nobody will know. All right, so I've got Peach Pie. Almost called it pecan pie, and I'm like, no, that's definitely not pecan pie. So Peach Pie Light Stampin' Blends, and we're going to start with coloring all the little tissue paper in on that. And then I'm going to come back in here with my dark and just, again, kind of go around the edges here where I feel like there would be a little bit of a shadow. Come in with the dark Peach Pie Stampin' Blends marker. And then come back in again with the light and kind of stir the two colors together and pull up a little bit to make sure that I don't have any harsh lines on anything. And that's all the coloring we're going to do on the paper. So, all right, make sure I've got everything filled in. There we go. I think we'll call that good. Set that one aside, and then I'm going to grab my Pretty in Pink, and I'm going to start with the light. And hey, I see a few other people have hopped in to join us. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you joining on a Friday. Going to color in here, starting with the light again, color in the handle. And then we're going to come in with the dark. And again, just put the little bit of the shadow in where I feel like it would be darker at. Maybe a little bit there in the corners. And I'm not even sure I need to really blend this one much, but I may touch it up just a little bit, bring the light back in. All right, that's all for the bag, so that's all done. Then I'm going to take my Pretty in Pink, since I have it here already in my hand, and we're going to color in the little tag on the bottle, starting with the light, and then we'll put in the dark, just a little bit of that, and then come back in with the light. I was busy tossing my crumb cake marker aside, and I realized that I need that yet. So then I've got Petunia Pop is the next color, and we're going to do... Whoop, that's dark. I don't want that one. Petunia Pop on the little label here on the bottle. And again, starting with the light, coloring everything in. And then come back in with the dark. And just adding in a little bit of color where I feel like it would be a little darker at. And then blending the two together. This, again, probably don't need to blend a whole lot on this one. The colors are not drastically different. Sometimes, like on my crumb cake, you notice that the colors were a lot different, so I did need to do a little more blending on those. Some of them, not quite as much, so. All right, then I'm gonna just color in the cork with the light crumb cake. Do you know when the zinnia suite will be back? I feel like it's due back around April 29th, I think was the last time that I looked at it. Hopefully that date is still correct. And the only thing that is missing right now out of that is the little shimmer gems. So the rest of it's still available. So you can order everything else and then just get the shimmer gems when they come in if you want to do that. There's no special pricing on the suite other than the bundle, the stamp set bundle. So you can pick the gems up with your next order or a future order if you want to do that. All right, I have got Shy Shamrock, and I'm starting with the light, coloring in the bottle. And then, whoops, I colored it in dark. Well, okay. We'll add in another little layer of color. I thought it seemed kind of dark when I was using it, but clearly I did not read the color very well. So we'll just add in a little bit of extra shading here around the edges, and we will call that good. Normally I would have colored it in with the, the light and then added a little bit of dark, but all good. Whoopsie. See, it happens when I get to yakking and I pick up the wrong color. All right, I've got Light Summer Splash, and hopefully it's actually the light one, which I think it is, and we're going to color in the little plant pot here. So color in the top and the bottom with the light, and then we'll do the middle with the dark, just to give it kind of a tone on tone, a little bit of contrast, but not drastically different. Just gives it a little different shading in there. And then the final piece that we need to color is the little top of the plant, and I'm going to pull out the light. This time I've got Shy Shamrock, and we will color in the little leaves on the plant. And get the third one done here. Hopefully y'all are enjoying your Friday. Getting down there on our countdown to the trip. So we leave next week Friday. So I'll be live around 2 o'clock Eastern time on Tuesday next week. But then I will be not live until I think the 14th of May is when my first live after we get back. Whatever that Tuesday, we return on the 11th. So it'll be the Tuesday after that that I'll be back live again. So we are headed for a little cruise in Italy, and I can't wait. Looking forward to that. So, and again, just coming back in with the light Shy Shamrock and blending it together a little bit with the dark. And we're going to darken in, I think, a little bit of those plants because they were a little more stark contrast than I wanted it to be. There we go. All right, and that is all the coloring. So, ta-da! One last thing I'm going to do is stamp the sentiment. And I've got Summer Splash ink and the Happy Birthday sentiment. Actually, I should probably make sure that this die cut is going to fit on here. It should. And if not, I did grab another little piece of paper that I can stamp the sentiment on if need be, if I mess it up too badly. So we've got Happy Birthday here. I'm just going to take that and stamp it right over here on the edge in Summer Splash. I wonder how many times I'm going to get those colors mixed up. Too many S's. All right, and I'm going to grab some of the dies here. I've got the little plant die, the little bottle die, and then the bag die. And then I've also got my Stylish Shapes sentiment die. So I'm going to go run this through the die cutting machine. I'll be back in 1 second. I can't wait. I'm excited too, Karen. And, you know, if you want to come along, we can see if we can fit you in a suitcase. So, all right. See if I can get these die cuts done in one pass. Whoop, probably not. All right. Well, let's see. Alright, just when I think I've got it all lined up, then one of them slides. I should grab my little Post-it notes, but I didn't. All right, so there's our sentiment. And got the little bag and the plant. Let me put those dies away. And finally, run the wine bottle through. All right, put that die back. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I did the shopping cart. Now, if you're really good with liquid glue, hey, Daryl, glad you're joining today. And, oh, banging into my lights while I'm yucking. So, all right. On I started to say on the shopping cart, if you're really good with liquid glue, and much better than I am, you can put liquid glue on the back of this, but it's a pretty skinny little die cut. So I actually remembered for a change to use my adhesive sheets. So these actually come in a 6x12 sized sheet, and there are 3 divisions in it. So it's a 2-inch strip basically. And then you just chop them up to however wide you want them to be. So I am gonna go ahead and I cut it to about 1 inch wide, and you don't need to cover the entire piece of paper that you're going to be die cutting from. You just want to cover most of what the die cut's going to be. So got that here on the back side of my smoky slate cardstock. Get that out of the way. And then I'm going to take my little shopping cart die and we're going to put that on the front as well as the little wheels. So I'm going to take both of these. We're going to flip it over. We're going to put these on the, whoops, if I don't throw things around again, put these on the flip side where I've got my adhesive on the back, flip side, and I'm going to run these through my die cutting machine. So hang on 1 second, I'll be right back. Come on. Here we go. All right. So then I'm gonna set these aside and get my little scissors. Actually, I have my little pokey tool. Let me do that instead. That's a little bit more forgiving than my big clunky scissors are. So I'm gonna pop out the little extra parts on the wheel here. So they're like the little, I don't know, die cut wheels, I guess, little holes that they cut in the wheel. And then you can see we've got the adhesive sheets here and here, so it doesn't cover the entire thing, but that's definitely enough to stick it on to the card front. And then I've got my little cart here, and just going to do the same thing here. All these are little spare bits. You know, someday I'm sure somebody will come up with something awesome to do with all those. I usually just end up tossing mine. So make a shaker card or something out of them, I don't know. But I'm not that creative when it comes to all those little bits of cardstock and things. So, all right. Then I got to get my actual shopping cart out. So again, you can see on the back side that I've got adhesive here and here. It doesn't cover everything, but that's definitely enough for what I need to stick it to the card front. So let me set these over here on my die sheet so I don't lose track of anything. And then I'm going to grab my shopping cart and I'm going to peel off the backing on that. And it definitely, unless you have really like kind of pointier fingernails, which I don't, you'll definitely want either the little pokey tool that is on your take your pick tool, or I've used paper snips a lot of times too. You can use the point on your paper snips and pick off the backing. It makes it a lot easier if you have something a little bit sharp to kind of pick it up and not have to try to pick and pick and pick with your fingers on it. So, all right, then I'm going to take this and I'm going to kind of lightly set it where I think I want the little shopping bag to be. Then I've got my little bottle of wine here that we're going to tilt in on the side. And then I've got the little plant. And we're going to make sure that everything is kind of contained in the shopping basket where I want it to be. Oh, I think I'll stick my plant in front though. I don't want the wine bottle truly in the front. There we go. That's a little better. And make sure that it's relatively straight, although I wanted the wine bottle tilted a little bit to the side. And so I'm sticking these actually to the shopping cart with the adhesive sheets. So it makes it much easier to do that. And then window panes out of unused paper. Oh, that might work. definitely very creative. Like I said, I'm not that creative when it comes to those things. I usually just end up saying, I won't ever use it, so I'll toss them. So, and then on my little shopping cart, the wheels are the same color as the base. And I wanted the wheels to stand out just a little bit more, so I grabbed my dark basic black Stampin' Blends marker. You could also probably do this with a Stampin' Write marker, so if you don't have the blends, a Stampin' Write marker will probably work just as well on when you're doing this project. And I'm just going to color in the wheels. There we go. All right, I think I've got them all done. And then the next thing I need to do is kind of grab my card front and sort of figure out where I want everything placed before I start peeling everything apart and undoing it. So I know generally this is where I want things to land. So now I think I'm set to go ahead and adhere on the bottom part of the shopping cart. If I can get my fingers, there we go. And pick off the other piece, there we go. Maybe. All right. Get that out of the way. And then I'm going to slide in the little bottom of the shopping cart here, the wheels and the base of it. Whoop, and get that stuck in where I want it to go on my card front. Come on. Fingers and brain are not all working together right now. All right, so I think that's where we want that to be. So then I'm going to smoosh that down really well and make sure that is stuck. And then I'm going to grab some glue dots and stick it to the back of the little die cuts that I've got on here. It is a really cute bundle, Janet, so definitely a fun one to play with. And like I said, people have gotten really creative in doing gift card holders and that sort of thing. This would be a perfect bundle for that sort of thing. Graduation's coming up, so that would even be a fun one for a graduation card. So, all right, so I've got about 5, 6 glue dots on the back of here. And I'm just going to put that over the top of my little base on the shopping cart. And then I'm just going to smoosh down the glue dots there. And my shopping cart is actually stuck to my die cuts here, so that's all held in place. So that's all we need for adhesive on it. Then I've got my little die cut sentiment. And I'm going to grab some Stampin' Seal, and we'll put that on about half of it. So we're going to put that on. Again, fingers are not always working so great. So we're going to put that on the left-hand side. And then I'm going to grab a Stampin' Dimensional and stick it underneath the right-hand side, since part of this will be hanging off of my dimensionalized circle that I've got over here. And I'm just going to take that and stick it here on my shopping cart. And if you like it a little higher, you can put it a little higher. Want it a little lower, put it a little lower, wherever you like it best. But I think we will call that good. And then the last thing for the card front is I've got a couple of these 2024 to 2026 in color shimmer gems. And these are like my favorite adhesive, I think, so far. It changes. It changes frequently. But my favorite adhesive as of right now from the catalog, because they're a little smaller and yet they're a little sparkly. So hopefully you can see it on the screen. There's just a little bit of shimmer to them, which makes them really pretty. So there is another set of gems that goes with the in colors, but they're more of a matte kind of dot type thing, and I like the sparkly stuff better. So that's what I've been using a lot of. I've been using tons of these little sparkle gems. So, all right, so I added in a couple of the little summer splash gems. And again, if you wanted more contrast in it and wanted to put the pink ones on there, or the peach pie ones on there, or even the little petunia pop, whatever, if you wanted a little different color to go with it, everything would coordinate, so you can grab whichever color it is that you like the best on there. But I just wanted it to be kind of a little neutral, mixed in with the back, but a little bit of sparkle too. So on the inside of the card, kept that fairly simple. I've got a sentiment that says, treat yourself, and going to put a little Summer Splash ink to stamp that in. And stamping it on a piece of basic white cardstock that measures about 4 by 5 1/4. And again, all the details for this will be on my blog tomorrow, which is stampwithamyk.com. And I will link directly to the blog post tomorrow morning, which will be Saturday around 8 o'clock in the morning Eastern time when it goes live. And so you'll be able to go back and find all the details, find the printable PDF tutorial and all that good stuff for this once it goes live. A little bit more coloring on the inside. Stamped the little flower bundle in Tuxedo Black Memento ink. And we're just going to color in the wrap for the flower bundle with Chrome Cake ink. cardstock, golly. And it's again, I'm starting with my light crumb cake Stampin' Blends marker. And then going to grab the dark, and we'll just come in here again along the edges and kind of underneath the flowers where there might be a little bit of a shadow. And get that colored in. We'll go there, a little bit down here. And then I'll grab my light and blend it together a little bit. There we go. And I promise we're almost done. All right. Filling in the details a little here, filling in the, making it be a little bit more blended. And there we go. And then the flowers, of course, I had to make them pink, so I did pretty in pink. So starting with the light, at least I think it's the light. Yep. The light, and we're just going to color in the little flowers. And this one's definitely one that's pretty quick to color, and it's pretty forgiving, so you can color if you accidentally color the wrong thing or whatever. Nobody knows whether it's a flower petal or not, so just color it however you think it should be colored. It's a fun little image, so don't stress out about it. All right, there we go. And I'm going to add a little bit of the dark in, just kind of a few random places around here. Around the flower centers mostly a little bit. And then come back in with my light and make sure that I don't have any spots where I've missed it, which I did a couple spots around the edges of the flowers. A little bit down there, a little bit in here. And then I'm going to grab the light Shy Shamrock. And I'm not sure if that's a petal or if that's a green. I don't know how I colored it. I colored it as green. Okay. That little spot up there, I'm not sure if it's supposed to be a flower petal, kind of a rogue petal, or if it's supposed to look like a leaf or whatever. I don't know. I colored it as a leaf. And then just adding a little bit of green around the edges. And if you wanted to, you could probably even do that all in crumb cake if you didn't want to add in the green. But I thought it needed a little bit of green on it. And we're going to stick that on the inside of the card base with a little Stampin' seal, and we'll be all done. So Kathy's saying, does anyone know the name of the stamp set that is used for selling cards? I should know it off the top of my head. Golly, hopefully somebody can answer it for you. It's on the tip of my tongue, but I can't come up with it. It's got the little copyright logo in it. If you flip to the back of the Stampin' Up! Catalog, it's probably listed under the Angel Policies. My guess is where you can find it. So, all right, so there we go. So that's it. It was a pretty quick and simple little card, just a little bit of coloring and definitely some fun colors. Loving the new in colors. Hopefully you all are too. Again, all of this stuff will be available to order beginning on the 1st of May if you are not a demonstrator. And if you're not a demonstrator but want to get your hands on things a little early, definitely you can go ahead and sign up and join to be a demonstrator and get a discount on your product and get the great starter kit. Let me know if you have questions on any of that. I'd be happy to chat with you more about it. Won't be able to watch on Tuesday. No problem at all, Carol. So, and I will definitely take lots of pictures, and I'm planning to share them as we go along. So again, I'll be live next week, Tuesday, around 2 o'clock Eastern time here on my YouTube channel. And then you won't be seeing me live for a couple of weeks until around like I said, I think it's the 14th or 15th of May, whatever that Tuesday is right around there. That is when I'll be back. So thanks again for joining. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll chat with you all soon.